Come on, you stupid thing. Work. I fed you the proper auto-exec.bat sacrifices. I tinkered around in the BIOS settings. I changed the ports on my sound card. You have no excuse. You kids today don't even know the struggle. These days, you can just play DOS games with the push of a button. Just click an icon and boom, you got your game. But back in the day, playing a DOS game was like hacking into the Matrix or whatever. Every game had a different secret handshake. Not enough conventional memory? Better tweak your config, sis. Sound blaster not detected? I hope you like playing in eerie silence, but it was worth it, and it still is, because DOS games are some of the greatest games of all time. It's true, and not just because my childhood brain treats them like a save file that I refuse to overwrite. I'm saying this because they are genuinely good. They had innovation, charm, and a lot of pixelated explosions that blew my dweeby little mind back in the 80s and 90s, and probably blow your mind too today. And here's the thing, these games still hold up. Sure, they might look a little more pixely than you're used to, and yeah, you might have to wrestle with DOSBox or your emulation doodad like it owes you money, but once you get past that, you'll find some of the best gameplay, the tightest mechanics, and the most creative ideas ever put on a screen. These aren't just relics of the past, they're absolute bangers that are still worth playing today. And you can play these games all sorts of ways, but the best way to play them is on your computer of choice running Dweeb DOS. This is a customized version of DOSBox staging that I made with a few fun tweaks and extra stuff added to make it a bit more authentic feeling, and orange. Always with the orange. I am. Check out this video link below if you want the grand tour and also learn how to use DOS and install your games. I mean, I'm not going to cover that now because this video is about the actual games. My personal selection of the most essential DOS games that every retro gamer needs to play. It's not even optional. Warcraft 2. The RTS that turned me into a strategic mastermind. There were a few real-time strategy games that came out before this, but this one perfected the formula. You gotta mine gold, chop wood, build little medieval villages, and then send armies to crush your enemies, all while your peons complain about how much work you're making them do. The pixel art is gorgeous, the music is epic, and the voice acting is top-notch. Legendary. And the best part is that it's still fun today. The pacing is smooth and the units are well balanced, and there's just something satisfying about watching a fleet of battleships bombard an enemy base into oblivion. Plus, Warcraft 2 was one of the first RTS games to really nail multiplayer. Assuming you had a dial-up modem and a mom who would remember not to accidentally boot you out of your game by picking up the phone, unlike my mom. If you love strategy games like StarCraft and Age of Empires, or just the idea of making tiny cartoon orcs and humans fight to the death, this is an absolute must-play. And it plays great on retro doodads too, believe it or not. Point-and-click adventure games aren't nearly as popular today as they were back in the day. They're a bit of a lost art, and the secret of Monkey Island is one of the absolute best. You play as Guybrush Threepwood, a wannabe pirate, and your goal is to prove yourself, defeat the ghost pirate LeChuck, and become the greatest pirate ever, which mostly involves solving ridiculous puzzles and arguing with other pirates using insult sword fighting, which is exactly as awesome as it sounds. You stupid, dumb butt face. This game is hilarious. The writing is top tier, packed with witty dialogue and absurd humor and fourth wall breaking moments that still feel good today. The puzzles are generally really well done. You'll either feel like a genius when you solve them or end up scratching your head and then feeling utterly bewildered when you realize the solution was something like use rubber chicken on pulley or whatever. Even today, the secret of Monkey Island holds up beautifully. It is classic point-and-click pixel perfection from the golden era of the genre. If you've never played a LucasArts adventure game, start here. This is the one to wet your feet in the salty point-and-click seas. Nothing makes me say, just one more turn, like a Heroes of Might and Magic game. If you've never played one, imagine a mix of turn-based strategy, RPG elements, and fantasy kingdom building, wrapped up in a package that's both brutally addictive and totally unfair when the AI decides to steamroll you, which is actually a lot funner than it sounds. The first game in the series was good, but Heroes of Might and Magic 2 takes everything to the next level. You start out by picking a faction, necromancers are the best, don't argue with me, build up your castle, recruit armies of knights, dragons, or skeletons, and send them out to conquer the world. Battles play out on a tactical grid where positioning actually matters. And in general, every decision feels important. Do you hoard resources to build the best units, or do you rush out and try to squash your opponent before they can build up their defenses? Do you go the magic route, or just overwhelm your enemies with sheer numbers? The pixel art still looks gorgeous. This is one of the best looking games of this era by far. The music is iconic and the campaign is so much fun, even if the AI sometimes cheats. Yeah, there, I said it. I don't even care if you like strategy games or not. Just play this game. There's something for everyone here. Just be warned, once you start, it really is hard to stop. Have you ever wanted to feel like a terrible leader? Yeah? Then you should play Lemmings. It's a puzzle game where you have to guide a bunch of clueless little critters from point A to point B, except they have no self-preservation instincts and they'll happily just walk straight off cliffs or into deadly traps unless you give them specific jobs, which you select in the list below and assign them to your lemmings in the map above. It starts out simple, and block off a path here and build a bridge there, but things get chaotic really quick. Some levels give you way too many lemmings and not enough time and just enough tools to barely scrape by. You'll mess up, you'll panic, and then you'll watch helplessly as all your lemmings plummet to their deaths and explode into squishy splatters of pixels. But when you do succeed, it really does feel good. And the gameplay is just as fun today as it was back then. If you love puzzle games, Lemmings is a must play. And if you don't, then congratulations. You won't have to live with the guilt of sending hundreds of tiny little creatures to their doom. This game is like an FPS had a baby with a 90s action movie and then fed that baby nothing but energy drinks and cheesy one-liners. Duke Nukem 3D is an absolute blast, with fast-paced shooting and creative weapons in a world that actually feels alive, which at the time was mind-blowing. You could turn on light switches and break mirrors and even throw money at strippers. That aspect hasn't aged all that well, but like, different times, man. Different times. What really sets Duke 3D apart is the level design. Instead of just boring corridors or open areas, you get realistic locations. City streets and movie theaters, a freaking space station. The guns are incredible. From the satisfying shotgun to the shrink ray, which lets you stomp tiny enemies like a lunatic. And the enemies are hilariously over the top, including pig cops and jetpack wearing lizard men. Does the humor hold up? Kinda. Let's just say it's very 90s kind of humor. But the gameplay does definitely hold up. It is still amazing. If you love classic FPS games but somehow missed Duke Nukem 3D, then grab your jetpack and stock up on pipe bombs and get ready for one of the best FPS campaigns ever made. A little bird told me that you like open world RPGs. Well, you can thank Ultima VII for helping invent them. Before Skyrim, before Baldur's Gate, before every other game and its mama decided to go open world, Ultima VII was doing insane things that no other RPG had done before. The world is alive. You could steal food from a shop and get a job, join a cult, mess with NPC schedules, and even bake actual bread. The writing is incredibly deep. Honestly, it feels like you're watching a proper medieval drama play out with an intriguing murder mystery at the center of it all. And the combat is... I guess this is one part that might not have held up as well. It's okay, it's kind of clunky, but it's a means to an end because the freedom that this game gives you is mind-blowing for a game of this time. And even today, Ultima VII holds up shockingly well. Once you learn the menus and the systems, it's still easy to play and still fun as heck. If you love RPGs, especially CRPGs, you owe it to yourself to experience the game that set the foundation for everything that came after. Just be prepared to get completely lost in its world. This is one of the first truly 3D games that I had ever played back in the day. Picture a first-person shooter, but instead of running, you're flying a spaceship through a labyrinth of tunnels while blasting evil robots and trying not to throw up from motion sickness. That's Descent. It's a 6 degrees of freedom shooter, meaning that you can move in any direction. Up, down, sideways, upside down, until you have no idea which way is which I can promise will happen. This game is so dang fun to play. I love firing this one up. The movement is so smooth it feels like second nature once you get the hang of it. The weapons are satisfying, the levels are tense, and the enemies are aggressive. Seriously, those robot ambushes will ruin your day. Even today, Descent is one of the most unique shooters that you can play. It takes a little time to adjust to the full 3D movement, but when you do, you'll feel amazed by the freedom. The graphics, the sound, the level design, the gameplay, it all holds up. The Commander Keen series is a classic example of early 90s platforming brilliance. You play as Billy Blaze, an 8-year-old genius who turns his homemade spaceship into a high-tech ship and becomes the heroic Commander Keen across 6 games. Yeah, 6. There are 6 of these things. You explore colorful alien planets and solve puzzles and jump on enemies and avoid all sorts of zany hazards. What made this game stand out was its combination of solid platforming and sci-fi storytelling. The gameplay was simple but fun, with pogo sticks and ray guns and secret rooms waiting for you to discover. The early games in the series were technically impressive and gave us fluid scrolling and fast action. Pretty slick for the time. Plus the music is great. The MIDI tracks are classic DOS retro gaming earworms. Each episode built on the previous one, and Commander Keen 4 Secret of the Oracle I think is the most popular one. That seems to be the one that everyone likes the best for its deeper exploration, kind of bigger levels. However, Keen 5 and Keen 6 were the ones that I liked best back in the day because they had more complex puzzles and better graphics. But play any of them though, or all of them. The series is a must-play for platformer fans, and every episode offers something special. This is where it all began. The birth of the 4X strategy genre, where you're not just playing a game, you're building the entire course of human history. Civilization is like a digital board game that makes you feel like a global overlord, except you don't have to wear a crown. Unless you want to, I guess. You just need a mouse and an unhealthy amount of free time. In this turn-based epic, you start as the leader of a single city, and it's up to you to build an empire, develop technology, wage wars, make alliances, and expand your influence across the globe. What sets Civ apart from other strategy games is its depth. There's so many layers to civilization. Military strategy, economy, diplomacy, and of course, figuring out how to win without nuking everyone, unless that's your thing. The graphics are nice to look at, but pretty primitive, to be fair, and the music is a little repetitive, but the gameplay is still insanely addictive. And trust me, once you've spent 10 hours building a megalopolis and getting your Mongol hordes wiped out, you'll know exactly why this game holds up today. If you like modern Civ games and want to go back to the series roots, or if you want to whet your 4X appetite with a simpler version of a hugely popular long-running franchise, then yeah, play this. And I've saved the best for last. You knew it was coming. Time for some Doom. I mean, what do you want me to say? This game is pure FPS perfection. It literally defined the genre. For a good long while, every FPS game was called a Doom clone. It has 100% held up to the test of time, and it's just as fun today as when it was released back in 1993, when 11-year-old TechDweeb was running and gunning on Mars instead of making friends and playing outside. You can see right now on the screen what you get here. You run, you shoot, you never reload because reloading is for cowards, and you turn demons into giblets while rocking out to a MIDI soundtrack that's basically metal music played by a robot. The level design is the stuff of legends, with big sprawling mazes packed with secrets, ambushes, and just the right amount of "God damn it, where the hell is the blue key" moments. The weapons feel perfect, from the classic punchy shotgun to the almighty BFG, which stands for Big Fun Gun, I think. The movement was way ahead of its time. Heck, modern shooters today still try to recapture the way Doom flows. It's fast, it's fluid, and it makes you feel like an unstoppable demon-slaying machine. Also, this is neat, it's endlessly moddable. You want to play Doom with lightsabers? There's a mod for that. You want to replace all the enemies with Barney the dinosaur? Go for it. This game is a gift to the world that keeps on giving. If you haven't played Doom yet, what are you even doing? Fix your life. And that brings us to the end. 10 of the most bestest DOS games that have ever existed. I tried to pick a good mix of games, and there were so many that couldn't make the list. I have a whole bunch of other DOS videos planned where I talk about the top games of each genre and also some hidden gem videos. I could make a whole freaking YouTube channel about DOS stuff, but I'll try to sprinkle in more DOS content at appropriate intervals. So you should probably get subscribed if you haven't yet, if you like this video and you want more stuff like this. And make sure you check out my other DOS videos. I have some good tutorials and stuff. I'll have links to some of that below. And please, I'd love to hear from you. What super amazing, awesome, must-play DOS games did I leave off this list? Give your favorite DOS games a shout out in the comments below. And while you're down there, click the thumbs up button if you liked the video, or don't if you didn't. That's it from me. I'm TechDweeb. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.